Welcome back to the Tennis Desk. From courtside secrets to the latest ATP and WTA power shifts, we break down the game so you stay ahead of the curve. Let's dive in. Imagine standing on the edge of the red clay in Monte Carlo, the Mediterranean breeze in the air, and knowing that one wrong move, one bad afternoon, could cost you the throne of the tennis world. That is exactly the reality facing Carlos Alcaraz right now. We are just days away from the Monte Carlo Open, and the tension in the atmosphere is thick enough to cut with a knife. But if you ask the Alcaraz camp how they're feeling about the looming threat of Jannik Sinner, they'll tell you something that might shock you. While fans are losing their minds over the live rankings, Samuel Lopez, a key pillar in Alcaraz's coaching team, is essentially shrugging his shoulders. He says it's not a big deal. But is he being serious, or is this just a masterclass in psychological warfare to keep his player calm? To understand why the stakes are so astronomical, we have to look at the roller coaster that has been the 2026 season so far. It's been a two-horse race from day one. On one side, you have Alcaraz, who came out of the gates like a cannonball, winning the Australian Open and the Qatar Open. He looked untouchable. For a moment, it felt like he was going to run away with the number one ranking and never look back. But then, that sunshine double happened, and the script flipped entirely. While Alcaraz struggled with early exits in Indian Wells and a shocking round of 32 loss to Sebastian Corda in Miami, Jannik Sinner did the unthinkable. He didn't just play well, he dominated. By winning both Indian Wells and Miami back-to-back, Sinner pocketed a massive 2,000 points, effectively erasing the comfortable lead Alcaraz had built. Now, as we pivot to the clay, the math is hauntingly simple. Alcaraz sits at 13,590 points, with Sinner breathing down his neck at 12,400. That 1,190-point gap sounds decent until you realize that Alcaraz is the defending champion in Monte Carlo. The moment the tournament starts, those 1,000 points from last year fall off his tally. Effectively, they are starting this race almost neck and neck. If Sinner reaches the quarterfinals and Alcaraz trips up in the round of 16, we will have a new world number one. The margin for error hasn't just shrunk, it has completely vanished. Yet, listening to Samuel Lopez talk, you'd think they were preparing for a casual Sunday hit-about rather than a fight for legacy. Lopez told Eurosport Spain that being number one or number four doesn't change the mission. He's pushing a philosophy of growth over hardware. He believes that the ranking is just a byproduct of consistency, of a long race, where the person at the top at the end of the year is the only one who truly matters. It's a very Rafask approach, focusing on the process and the health of the player rather than the shiny trophy or the digital ranking next to a name. But can a 22-year-old superstar really ignore the noise when the entire world is calling Sinner the real, best player on current form? That's where the strategy for the clay season comes in. The Alcaraz team isn't just winging it, they have a calculated plan to handle the sheer volume of tennis coming up. We're looking at a brutal stretch: Monte Carlo, Barcelona, Madrid, Rome, and then the ultimate test at Roland Garros. Lopez made an interesting point about the modern Masters 1000 format. He noted that while they might not be as physically draining as the days when legends like Nadal played every single day, the mental toll is actually higher now. These tournaments stretch over 10 days, meaning players never truly switch off. You are in competition mode for weeks on end with almost no breathing room. For Alcaraz, the motivation is deeply personal. Barcelona is a home tournament where he feels a special connection to the crowd. Madrid is a place where he wants to redeem himself after missing out previously. And then there's Rome, a title he's defending. The plan is to play everything. They aren't looking to skip events to protect the ranking, they are going in with the mindset of playing the whole tour. It's a brave move, especially considering the physical demands of clay court tennis, which requires sliding, grueling rallies, and incredible stamina. Alcaraz is expected to land in Monte Carlo by April 3 to begin his transition to the dirt. He was the king of the clay last year, winning Monte Carlo, Rome, and the French Open. That's a lot of points to defend, but it's also a surface where his variety, those trademark drop shots and heavy topspin forehands, really comes to life. While Sinner has improved massively on all surfaces, clay is still the one area where Alcaraz feels he has the tactical edge. Sinner's flat, powerful hitting is lethal on hard courts, but the red clay of Monaco rewards the creativity and grit that Alcaraz has in spades. What makes this rivalry so fascinating is that we haven't even seen them play each other on court yet this season, but the ghost of the other is always present in every match they play. When Alcaraz was losing to Korda in Miami, you could almost feel the Sinner pressure weighing on his shoulders. Every point Alcaraz dropped was a door opening for the Italian. Now, the roles are reversed. Sinner is the hunter, and Alcaraz is the prey trying to rediscover the form that saw him conquer Melbourne in January. The coaching team is doing its best to shield Carlos from the Sinner mania currently taking over the tennis world. By labeling the ranking not a big deal, they are trying to take the weight off his back. They want him to play free, to play with that joy and flair that made the world fall in love with him in the first place. Because when Alcaraz starts playing for points instead of playing for the love of the game, that's when he becomes vulnerable. So, here is the big question as we head into the Monte Carlo Masters: can Alcaraz block out the noise and reclaim his dominance on the dirt, or is the momentum behind Jannik Sinner simply too strong to stop? If Sinner takes the #1 spot in Monaco, it would mark a massive shift in the power balance of the new gen. It would be the first time since the Big Three era that we've seen such a volatile battle for the top spot. One thing is for sure, no matter what the coaches say, for the fans and for the history books, this is a very big deal. Who are you backing to leave Monaco as the world #1? Is Sinner too hot to handle right now, or is the clay season Alcaraz's time to remind everyone why he's been at the top since last year? Drop your predictions in the comments. Let's talk tennis. The tennis season never stops and neither do we. If you want more insights into the players climbing the rankings, check out our latest deep dive right here. Don't forget to subscribe to the Tennis Desk to stay in the loop. And I'll see you on the next one.